PhD here, and I have also done my MTech from under the sir's supervision. So I will basically try to tell little bit about this plant tissue culture technology and how these things are, how these things works and what is the importance and all the aspect. Though this lab thing is actually very good, but due to some this COVID and all those things, we are unable to do that. So I will try to show the most of the pictures and tell you the things, how things are done and how we do the things and how what is the importance and how one can do it. So those are the things. So as it is mostly a lab class, so you can stop me anywhere during the presentation if you have any doubt, because it is a lab class, so you must have some doubt, and the things are actually done in lab, but unfortunately I have to tell the things. So if you have any doubt at any moment, just stop me and ask me any question, anything, if you have any doubt and if you are unable to understand what I am telling. Okay, so with now I am starting. So first of all, this plant tissue culture. So as most of you know that, just imagine that one this big plant around you, every one of us, there are big plants and small plants, so several plants are there. So these plants, you have a little bit concept about the cell, and these plants all are made of cell and tissue. So basically the plant tissue culture, the name suggests that you can generate an entire plant inside a glass good or glassware with support of some artificial component into a full plant, not like the outside plant like the full height or not, but you can generate a miniature version of that. So like as you can see from this picture, there you can see some plants are already grown. So this is the term denotes this plant tissue culture. So basically the culturing of plants, and sometimes it is also referred as in vitro. That is, the vitreous means glass. So growing the plant inside a glass. So now this, what is the advantage of plant tissue culture, and why this certainly this plant tissue culture term arise, and what is the importance, why people are doing it. Now imagine one thing, that there are lots of plants and lots of medicinal importance or endangered species, rare species. Some plants are growing throughout the season, some are specific, some grows in rainy season, some in Himalayas, some in hot climate, some in other regions, some in foreign, some in India. So several things are there. So now if you have to work on some plant, or this plant tissue culture facility actually enables you to grow any plant and throughout the year inside this glass jar, for your for any plants. So you don't have to rely on the environment, you don't have to rely on the geographical location of the plant. You can grow and maintain the plants for several years, up to several years. So these are the basically advantage of plant tissue culture. Like one is the obviously higher yield. For example, one plant which is growing this environment outside, it takes a lot of time to become a big tree or fully mature phase. But in culture, this times got little bit, their developmental time got little bit short. So they grows, and usually one plant can be grown with proper medium for up to 4 months, 5 or maximum 4 to 5 months, mostly 1 to 2 months, but sometime varies. And also there is no, you don't have to depend on the environment, and also potential for low cost production. And also you can develop, you can produce novel components. For example, you have some important medicinal component in some of the plants, but it is not possible you to cut all the plants and extract that medicinal component and go through this production of medicine, all those, because that will essentially make you to lose the biomass and the all the plants. That is not possible. So but in culture you can grow several plants and you can extract, you can destroy. That's not an issue, you can grow. And also the round the year availability, that most of the plants, most of the medicinal plants, and also many non-medicinal plants also, these are not available throughout the year, but in culture you can maintain it in the inside in a controlled environment, but throughout the year. And another thing is, suppose you want to work on some endemic species or some species which is specifically found in some other region. So obviously that is not available in your region. So you can bring that plant from there, or seeds from of that plant or some part of the plant, and from there you can develop an entire plant and you can maintain in your tissue culture facility. So before going into the basics of the steps of plant tissue culture, so let me first go through this slide. So this is the how can a plant cell or tissue develop in vitro. So basically this all starts with the father of plant tissue culture, who is commonly known as Gottlieb Haberland, from his experiment in 1902. So he tried to grow some plant in some salt solution, basically not plant, isolated plant cell in salt solution, and if I am not wrong, that is NOx or NOx salt solution. And he got some success. So that was the beginning of this plant tissue culture or in vitro culture, whatever you say. So there this term was coined, that is the totipotency. So what is totipotency? So totipotency actually give the plant that from a very small explant one can generate the entire full plant from a very small explant. So that is the actually totipotency, and this totipotency ability of plants, which is only present in plants, so able to you develop the entire plant from the very small to smallest explant in the in vitro. So now what is the small and smallest and what is this explant? So explant is basically when you are taking some parts of plant present in outside, and some parts of the plants you are taking and for the development of plant tissue culture, or the development of entire plant in the tissue culture facility. So that part is called explant. Now what are the explant? Explant can be anything. You can take node, you can take internode, you can take leaf, you can take root, fruit, flower, whatever you want, because all the parts from all the plants are totipotent. They have this totipotency ability, so they can be developed into an entire plant. Mark my word, they can be developed into an entire plant in the tissue culture facility theoretically. But practically when one has to go or one has to do, there are a lot of combinations, and for the several reasons, trial and error, so all this lead to some specification of some particular explants which are chosen over all the explants whatever I told. So those plants are particularly preferred for the generation of any kind of for the development of tissue culture for any kind of plant. So there are several other things. I am not going into detail why those things and how those things. Just keep in mind the mostly growing tissues and not roots or flowers or fruits. Those are not preferred. Mostly vegetative part, and the upper part, that is the anything from stem. It may be node, it may be some part of stem, leaf. Those are mostly preferable. Leaf, stem, nodes, and all those things. Roots and sometimes people used, and flowers are used for some different purpose, and also fruits are not generally used that much, but one can do as totipotency give you that freedom to do it, but that's not possible in any case. Most of the cases people follow this kind of explant. So so what are the steps? So first you have to identify one healthy plant material. Healthy, that is very much important, because you will take the material from that healthy plant. So the plant must be healthy, disease free, and it should be in a good condition. So after taking the explant, so basically what we used to do, we take some stem part of some branch of the plant and we remove the leaves. If you don't require leaves, you can remove it and take the stem portion with this node. I will explain you in the later picture what is node, what is internode. This term may be little bit difficult to you. So we take the nodal portion with the axillary bud or sometimes the apical bud and place in the media, but after the surface sterilization. So surface sterilization, what is the surface sterilization? So when these plants are present outside in this open environment, so there are lots of bacteria, fungus, and all those things are also present in this plant body and outside environment. So they are also sitting in the plant's body. But as you are growing this plant some in artificial media, artificial component which we usually call media, So they have this important component. They have this important component for plant growth and survivability. So also bacteria and fungus also can be grown in that media. So for that reason, so you have to carefully surface sterilize the plant material without hampering, without damaging your explant. So one thing you have to keep in mind in plant tissue culture, whenever you are taking some part for growing the plant, it will be named as explant, whatever it may be. It may be stem, leaf, whatever it may be, it will called as explant. So whenever I am telling the term explant, just understood that I am talking about the material which already have taken from the mother plant. Now I am going to culture it. So surface sterilization, so basic process of surface sterilization is, first you have to wash it in running tap water vigorously for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. You can increase the time, that does not hamper your thing. And then you have to wash with, sometime in some cases I have also used in some cases that you have to wash it with some soap. So basically a detergent, but detergent sometimes hamper the material. So what we use, this commercially available 2020 or some synthetic detergents are available commercially from company side, and those are actually not that much hampered in context to our detergent what we use in our house, regular household. So one can use that. So after washing with detergent, then you have to apply some fungicide. Mostly we use Babistin. Sometimes you not it is not required. Sometimes required. So depending on the material, and you have to do trial and error without giving Babistin, with giving Babistin, like that. And so after giving this Babistin treatment, then you have to wash with water several times to remove any traces of Babistin, because if Babistin will present there, then it will cause some problem. Okay, so after that Babistin treatment, so after this, up to this process, this will be happen in the outside. So then from then those material will be taken inside the laminar airflow. I will tell you in detail, and I will also show you the picture what is laminar airflow. Yeah, sorry, some problem was there. So these things are, I haven't mentioned in this slide in detail, so you can note it down for your future references. So so after taking into the laminar airflow, so one has to do the surface sterilization with 0.1% HgCl2, that is mercury chloride. So that is basically antibacterial agent. So as I mentioned, this outside environment there is fungus, so we are giving Babistin for removal of fungal spore or fungus, and then we are giving HgCl2 for removal of any kind of bacteria present in the body of this plant cell, explant. So after doing this surface sterilization, so you have to carefully put this thing in the culture media. And with proper media and hormone, this plant can be differentiated into callus, shoots or roots. Then you have to do hardening or embryo, so like that. So I will tell this part in detail in later parts. So now the thing is ki how these plants they actually grow. So basically when you place this explant in the media, so they goes with de-differentiation. So basically they went back to their previous form, and then again they redifferentiated into the new generation of new organ. So it may be shoot, it may be callus. So depending on the your media composition and hormonal content, so it will act accordingly. So this is how the how plants develop, how a plant cell or tissue develop into an entire plant in vitro. And this slide is just the journey. So starting from this 1902, Gottlieb Haberland who discovered, then there are discovery of hormones, synthetic hormones, which are now available from companies. And so several hormones are, previously it was restricted to few, but now several hormones are available. And so on, the discovery went on, and several other aspect of tissue culture also discovered. And the first break after this Haberland, there the most important breakthrough came in the year of 1960. So that is basically the development of Murashige MS media, so named after the scientists Murashige and Skoog, so which are commonly used in most of the tissue culture system. And also later after Gamborg and several other media have also developed, but this Murashige and Skoog literally changed the tissue culture like it is in today from earlier version. So this is just the timeline. So this is the picture you can see. So now this is your entire plant. So this is root, this is leaf, this is apical portion, this is axillary portion. So this part, so this is the distance, I mean this stem portion from one leaf to another leaf. So this part is called your internode, and from where the leaves are emerging, they are called nodes. So they have this axillary bud. So these axillary art were very minute. Even you can go and roam around your whatever plants available outside your home or in your home. You can look here carefully. So you will see there are some axillary small buds actually. So they actually develop the branch in the later stage of development. So when you default when we so this is internode and this is node, and here also you have one apical bud very small, which also helps to grow the plant the upward side. So what is nodal explant, which I was telling earlier? So if you cut this plant from here and from here, so you will get one node having these two leaves. So you have to remove these two leaves. So now it becomes your nodal explant. So this is the nodal explant. So nodal explants. So nodal explants. So when you place in the nodal explants in the proper media with obviously supplementation with the hormone. So according to presence of hormone, so it will give you callus or give you embryo or can give you direct organ. So basically there are 3-4 processes to generate the entire plant from the explant. So one is placing the nodal explant with hormones. So it will give, so from the axillary bud new shoots will develop. So from these shoots, you with proper hormone supplementation you develop roots, so your entire plant is ready. Another is this, you take leaf or some other explant, so they will develop some embryo, somatic embryo. I will tell you detail in later slides. So this somatic embryo can be germinate in some other media, and also you can get the entire plant. And these two things are actually called direct organogenesis. But sometimes explant develop some callus. So callus is basically the unorganized mass of cells. So it is composed of basically cells, nothing. It is not shoot, not root. It is not differentiated into anything. It is just lump of cells. So these cells actually callus. So this is actually indirect organogenesis. So callus is also very important thing. So callus also with giving proper hormone supplementation, you can develop root, you can develop shoot. So if you are developing shoot, so again those shoots will be placed in rooting media to develop root, and you can get your entire plant. So this is the schematic diagram. This is the process. So how to generate, these are the process how to generate the entire plant from explant in tissue culture. So these are the 4 commonly used media, mostly Murashige Skoog, which is very common. It is very common, and then also Gamborg B5 media, which is used for the root culture. And other than these two, Lensmeyer Skoog and Sank and Haberland, and also Woody plant media, which developed later by Leod and McKeown, is also popular for culturing of the woody species. Okay, so now I will show you some pictures that how we proceed for this tissue culture technology. So first you need your, this is your media which is commercially available from company. These are ready-made. Actually media have separate components, but now these companies are producing, so these are readily available. You have to mix with the proper volume of distilled water. You need hormones, which I told. You need calcium chloride and obviously sucrose. As you are, hello
sir, are you using your cursor?
Just a second. Now can you see?
Yes sir, now fine.
Yeah, okay, sorry. So for what I was telling, this sucrose. So you need sucrose. So why sucrose? So as you know that plant photosynthesizes and produce sugar for the growth, development, and all the necessary process required for survivability. But when you are cutting and taking some explant and putting into the media, obviously as I mentioned, for example in nodal explant or leaf explant, so initially they will not able to synthesize the sugar component in their leaves or in their chloroplast part immediately, because those things are already disturbed. You cut and you placed into some other artificial media. So for that reason, you need some sort of carbon source to grow that plant out when you are giving the explant from outside to the culture media. So for that reason, you can go for any kind of carbon source, sucrose, glucose, galactose, dextrose, anything. But most of the cases, sucrose is used, and for 90 to 95% cases, it has been seen that sucrose is actually very helpful, and it gives actually better growth. So these are the things you needed, and also this is actually the culture tube with this cap. So these are autoclavable. What is autoclave? I will tell you. So first the thing is you need this thing, and also other something I will try to tell. So this is the component of MS media, mostly consisted of macro elements, micro elements. So basically what an outside plant are taking from its soil, so these components are actually present in the artificial media, or you have to give those components macro elements and micro elements, which all of you know. For example, magnesium, which is the important component of chlorophyll. So the same concept. So you have to give those things for plant to grow, because soil is not there, and you cannot culture in the soil, because lot of contamination will come. So this artificial media, this MS media or any media, every media have some different composition. So they have mostly these macro elements and micro elements, and also you need to provide vitamins, amino acid and carbohydrate, all of these things to the media for growing the entire plant from explant. And as I also mentioned, calcium chloride, one can also actually calcium chloride, one medias are also available with calcium chloride, but we are using mostly without calcium chloride, because this calcium chloride containing media, they used to expire little bit early. So for that reason, and also they have given, there will be instruction written actually in the video how we have to prepare for how much volume and all those things. So these are the components. Okay, now so how we prepare? So first we have to wipe the spatulas, from which by using which you will take the media, sucrose or anything. It's a compulsory step and necessary step for doing any kind of experiment in lab, because several people are doing several experiments. So you have to wipe before using for your own purpose with alcohol, ethanol, methanol, maybe anything. So after wiping, so these are the steps. This is the actual steps. So these are the pictures from our lab, which we have taken to give you some glimpse. So how things are done. So how we are prepared, how we are preparing the media, and how we do culture and all those things. So just look at the picture. I think you will able to understand. But if you not, then stop me and ask me if you have any doubt regarding any steps. Okay, so for after wiping, so now this is weighing balance. So you have to weigh the media. First, you have to weigh the media and put in the distill beaker containing distilled water. Then you have to weigh sucrose. Okay, now sucrose percent one can vary 2 to 4, 3 depending on you, but most of the cases 2% is used. Most of the cases are looking at the culture and the further process, and you have to decide whether you have to increase or decrease. Those are some complicated things. I am not going into detail. So after first we add media. So then it's a very simple thing. Just look at the picture, and if you can note it down as I am telling, just step by step. It is very easy, and you can remember it for later time also. So first we wipe the things, spatula, then we weigh the media and place the media in the beaker containing water. Now we are weighing the sucrose, and then we are also placing pouring the sucrose in the beaker containing water. Now we are adding calcium chloride, and then followed by plant growth regulator or PGR. Okay, so now the thing is, so plant growth regulator, what are the, I have added some things about plant growth regulator, but I don't know, due to some problem these are not seen. Okay, but I am telling you, you can note it down. So plant growth regulator, so basically the hormones, like we have hormones in our body which is required for our growth, maintenance and some other purposes also. So like that, plant also have hormones. So whatever plants you are seeing outside, they also need plant hormones. But for their case, there is a terms that phytohormones or plant growth regulators. But in culture, mostly it is used as plant growth regulators, because these are synthesized commercially. So this plant growth regulators. So why we need hormone for our growth, maintenance, and all those things? For same reason, the plant also need these hormones, and for the same reason, you have to also add this plant growth regulator in your culture media. for to grow the plants. Now what are the hormones available? So it has, just write it down. So it has three, four major hormones are there, but mostly we use two major hormones. One is categorized into auxins and other is categorized into cytokinins. So auxin, there are 3, 4 and several types of actually auxins are available, but in most of the cases people uses, and also we are using NAA, IAA, IBA. So let me finish, and I have written somewhere about this in some of the slides. So I will stop there, and also again I will show the slides again. So maybe you can see there. But for now, try to note it down. If you don't able, so I will show you again after finishing the slide, all the slides. So for in the auxin, these are 3 most commonly used. Those are NAA, IAA, and IBA. So Na is naphthyl acetic acid, Ia is indole acetic acid, and IBA is indole butyric acid. And in the cytokinin, 3 things are BAP, that is 6-benzyl aminopurine, kinetin, and TDZ, that is thiodiazuron. And other two hormone which are used very less but used, that is the gibberellic acid, GA, and another one is, that is ABA, that is abscisic acid, but those are not commonly used, very rare cases. So I will tell you, I will show you the slide again later where I have written this thing, so it will help you to note down. So okay, so we have added media in the distilled water, we have added sucrose, we have added calcium chloride, we have added now PGR. Now what is the step we will follow? Now we will do the pH adjustment. Why pH adjustment? Because this media have several components. So obviously if you place the plant in acidic environment, it will die. If you place the in basic environment, it will die. So we keep the pH for MS media mostly 5.8 to 6. These are experimentally established and follows in worldwide, because people have seen that in this pH plant grows very well, and also they grow into entire plant in the in vitro condition. So for MS media we used to make the adjust the pH 5.8 to 6, note it down. And for Gamborg B5 media we use, that is pH 6. We have to maintain the pH into pH 6. Okay. So now we have to make up the volume. So if you are preparing 200 ml, so just add 100 ml of water in the beaker, and then add all the thing 100, not 100, 150 or 160, then add all the things as I showed you early. First media, then sucrose, then calcium chloride, then hormone, then do the pH, and then do the volume makeup. So instructions are given in the packet, that for 1 liter you have to add how much. So from there you can calculate for 200 or 100, whatever your requirement, you can how much you have to add. So now my media is ready, but that is liquid media. So if one has to one has requirement of liquid media, for example we do root culture, that is the isolated root culture, not the entire plant. Some components, some medicinal important components are present in the roots of some plants. So obviously we don't need the entire plant, as the components are present in roots. So we simply do the culture, that is the root culture media. For root culture you have to make the media in liquid form, so you don't have to solidify. But for solid media, just just compare with the outside. For example, if your soil is too much it's not that much solid, so it is rather muddy or something, or liquidy, so will your plant is able to stand there? Obviously not, it will fall. The same reason is also here. So if you don't solidify your media, so how you will place the explant? So plant will not able to grow na, because it will not able to stabilize itself, it will fall, it will move like that. So now one thing important, that you can solid with several things, but the problem is that the solidification with some agent can cause the alteration in some media components and some other parts. So for that reason, most of the cases agar is used, which is basically neutral, and they don't have any effect on the media composition, neither to plants and next plants, and not to any of the media composition. So now we are adding agar. So there most of the cases 0.8%, and sometime vary depending on the thing, but most of the cases 0.8%. So 0.8%, so accordingly whatever volume you are making, so add the agar accordingly, and then you have to place this thing in the oven. I have to actually have to heat. So after heating you can see, so now this media is ready, solid media is ready. So after this step, so you have to pour the media in culture tube. So I have already shown you in the culture tube. So this culture tube, and most of the cases the 15 ml, 10 to 15 ml, so depending on the requirement and how so the question is why I am not, maximum is 15 ml for this particular height of culture tube, but why I am not increasing or not decreasing? Because you have to give some space to the plants, explants to grow. Suppose you can give media up to this, but there will be no space for the plants to grow. So for that reason, most of the cases 10 to 15 ml is sufficient. So there will be lot of space to grow, and also the media is amount is suitable to for its survival for 1 month. It will depend on the plant, which explants you are growing, their nutritional uptake and all those things. Okay, so this is now ready. Now what we have to do, we have to surface sterilize the thing. We have to sterilize, not surface sterilize, we have to sterilize. Why? Because you are prepared the media in open environment, so there are fungus, there are bacteria and all those things, so which are attached to your media and fall into your media during your preparation as the this. So now this is contaminated. So when you will place the explant, your explant will grow or may not grow, but that doesn't matter, but your fungus and bacteria, all those things will grow. Now the problem is, so whatever media you have gave to grow the explant to into entire plants, now in place of that, so if the fungus and bacteria grows, then what will be the problem? You will not get the entire plant, rather than there will be contamination, which we used to call contamination, which is very difficult, which is very common thing also, but with a lot of practice and proper care, so there will be less contamination. So contamination is the main enemy of this tissue culture. So it actually led to loss of your explants in the entire culture and lots of this. So for that reason, we have to autoclave. So this machinery is called autoclave. So this has two things. So the autoclave is actually operates at 121 degrees centigrade for 15 under 15 psi pressure for 15 to 20 minutes. So that will actually kill all the harmful bacteria, all the bacteria and all the fungus if any present in the media. But at this temperature and all those things, it has been tested and follows worldwide, so it will not cause any hamper to your media. So this is the laminar airflow cabinet. So you can see here you have to give this is your 70% ethanol for wiping the floor, because this thing this is also present in open environment, so there may be bacteria, fungus, all those things. This spirit lamp, you have to lit it up when you are doing culture. Then you have, there is 100% ethanol for placing your forceps and scalpel, the equipments with which you will doing the culture. And this thing have this HEPA filter, that is the high efficiency particulate air filter. So laminar airflow basically, so the air will flows from this. So you can see this net like structure. So air sterilize air. So sterilized air will continuously, when you turn on the machine, a laminar airflow, so sterilized air will be continuing flow from this direction towards your direction. So you will be sitting here and doing the culture. So for why? Because there is also, this is a air contaminated with bacteria, fungus and all those things. So if pure air is not there, so how will do the culture? All the things will fall into the culture and contamination will be done. So for this problem, so laminar airflow is there. So high HEPA filter will eliminate any kind of microbes whose size is 0.3 millimeter, 0.3 millimeter. So it will eliminate all the size of microbes. It has this filter and give you pure air will flow from this net like structure, as you can see, towards you, for where you will be sitting and doing the culture. So this is the function of laminar airflow. Okay, so this is how we give the culture. As you can see, spirit lamp is on and one is taking, this is culture tube, taking the explant and doing some subculture or whatever those things. So this is how video will be nice, but okay, image you can understand from the image. Okay, so this is our plant tissue culture facility. You can see these are racks. These are racks with obviously you have to place in here is one AC is there, because you are keeping the plants, you want to you have to make sure that this should be alive. So the AC is there, which operates at 24 plus minus 2 degrees centigrade, and also you have to give light, because sun is not there in your laboratory facility, so you have to give artificial light. In most of the cases, warm white tube or also current as LEDs are also used. So these and also secker. We have this one has to present some seckers in the culture facility for going the root culture. Why root culture? So because root culture needs continuous aeration, because those things are present in liquid media. So if there is no continuous aeration, this root will die. So as you can see, this is some of the cultures which we develop during the time in our laboratory. So this is actually Plectranthus amboinicus, which is very aromatic, one species from Lamiaceae. This is Kanscoda. So this plant's roots contain several medicinal importance. We have also culture of this root culture of this plant. So this is hairy root. So this is how it looks like, only root culture. This is hairy root of, and also sometimes we give lights to root and make it green. So it will do for some other experiment, and several important experiments and discoveries are made using this light, application of light in this culture media. You can go through search profile, and there are several papers are from our lab. And so this is what I was telling. This is callus. You can see the no shape. It is not stem, not leaf, nothing, just the lump of cell. And also we are able to develop red callus. So basically these are the callus which contains anthocyanins, so which you get from berries, apple, and all those things. So this is very actually useful. So one can develop this thing and make red colors and go for this large scale production of this anthocyaninic colors, so which will serve the purpose of this anthocyaninic rich fruits, berry, grapes, whatever we are consuming in daily basis. So this is the rack from front side of view, you can see. So with the racks, and sometimes we have to make for callus, you have to make the dark covered with black cloth, because light will make chloroplast. And this is the root culture of this Kanscoda, which I was telling. So you can see, so this is adventitious root, but in this picture this is hairy root. So by looking at the picture, you can see the difference between their width. So this is the this is also white root of Kanscoda, and this is also green root of Kanscoda. Some work have also done in this Kanscoda in our lab regarding their important component, which is known as xanthone, present in this. And these are the some other types of culture which we don't follow in our lab, but these are the important. So basically this is the embryo which I was telling. So this is one of the work from my MSc, you can see. So these are the somatic embryo. So essentially embryos are present inside the seed, but with proper hormone and proper combination of media, one can generate directly embryo from the explant like this. So what is the now implication of embryo? So like embryo can give new plants, like from seed we are getting new plants, from embryo new lives are coming. So like that. So from embryo one has to do the somatic artificial seed, that is the another term which is very common or linked with the somatic embryo. So by some procedures are there, I am not going in detail. So the when you place the this embryo from insert the embryo in the drop of sodium alginate and falls in the calcium nitrate or calcium chloride, so it will readily form calcium alginate. So it a small bubble like structure, and here inside it will get the embryo. You can store the embryo, you can directly germinate the embryo, you can directly germinate the embryo outside soil also. So why the somatic embryo is very important? All the species are not flowered, or there is very difficult to flower. Some species don't flower. Some species flower very after a long interval. So for that reason, the somatic embryo is very actually useful. You can gather several plants for a short period of time. Simply do the somatic embryo, and you can see this is a very small explant. This is actually 1 centimeter square piece of leaf. So you cannot count how many embryos are there, maybe 300, 100, 200. So from all the embryos you will get one individual embryo will give rise to individual plants. So from 1 centimeter square of plant you will get 100 or 500 or 1000 of plants. So like this. So this is the actually important of somatic embryogenesis. And also artificial seeds, so these are pathogen free and directly. So there are some importance of this thing. And another culture which is common, that is the plant cell suspension culture, like I showed you the callus culture. So when this callus, free-will callus, are placed in a conical in a media with liquid media and second for second in high RPM, so they actually dissociate into small cells. And after doing several times of subculture, so you will get very fine. I will show you one nice picture of this suspension culture. So you will get very fine suspension culture of containing fine cells, so which are very because if for example if some components are there in a plant, so it may be available in root, it may be available in leaf, it may be available in some other parts. So callus also actually the part of that plant. So these are also cells of that plant. They may not differentiate it into some stem, root or something, but they have this plant. They are the part of this plant. So they obviously will contain some medicinal, the content, the same content whatever present in the plant. So for that reason, the callus culture and suspension culture is widely used, because if you able to develop callus and from callus you can develop the suspension. So whatever your requirement, so that will develop in the single cells. So you have to isolate the single elite cell and grow the suspension for here. There you don't need also entire plant. So nowadays tissue culture is now growing in going into the region where people are most preferring the smallest to smallest explant, not the entire plant. I need only root because components are stored in root. I need the these concepts are like there. Now people are also going to callus and suspension, because why we didn't also need the root or stem or thing. We need the cells. You need the cells. Cells contain this plant cell. This plant contains this. So this plant have cells. The cell will contain that. The same thing. So do callus and do suspension. You will get the same thing. Why you don't need the entire plant? And this callus have a very high growth rate. For your entire plant in also culture, it requires at least 1.5 months to grow. But for callus, it may be 14 days, maximum 21 days, like that. So this is the suspension culture, and this is another thing I am not going into detail. This is anther culture. So basically this anther will contain the haploid cells. So one can generate haploid plant in a tissue culture. This is the what I say, less cost effective and no genetic manipulations are there. And this is also important for several mostly research purpose, how haploid plants, how genes are acting, which genes are haploid, which genes are diploid, which genes are masked. So like that I am not telling in detail. And these are the bioreactors. So now people are growing this culture suspension plants or whatever things in big container to grow the material in large quantity. But again, one thing we have to keep in mind is the contamination. That is very dangerous thing in culture. So one contamination can kill can destroy the entire thing. And if there is contamination, you simply have to throw the culture. There is no other way to recover it. There is no other. You are some process, but it is most of the cases it has been seen it is not fruitful. So these are some plant tissue culture facilities, like this is AVT Biotech present in Kerala, and there are also some facilities are in throughout the world. So this is hardening unit. So hardening is basically, so after getting the plant with rooted, so basically rooted shoot from the tissue culture, so you have to harden. So because these are maintained in some controlled environment with temperature, light, and so artificial things are there. So if you place the things suddenly outside in the soil, they will immediately die. So there are some process of hardening, some process are followed to make it compatible with the outside environment. Then you can grow it like other plants, normal plants. So for that part is called hardening. So this was I was telling. So this is the actually ciconine, which is basically natural dye. So you can see, so this was as I was saying, this is a fine suspension culture. You can see this is ciconine, and they have lot of bioreactors and all those things. So ciconines are current days now only produced in bioreactors in from suspension culture, and they accumulate this ciconine and people are harvesting. So this was I was telling. So this is the importance of, so you don't need the entire plant, and this growth is very fast. 14 days, 15 days you will get. So from the same amount, if you want to get from the entire plant in vitro also, it will take 1 month, 2 months, some cases 3-4 months. But here it will not. So you can see from callus the fine suspension cultures are there. You can develop, then go to bioreactor, make it in large scale, whatever your important product. It may be anthocyanin, it may be ciconine, it may be some medicinal component, some secondary metabolites, whatever your choice. So you go to bioreactor and do it, and you will get your product. So like this thing. Sir, are you there? Sir?
Yes.
Hello? Sir, if you,
Yeah,
I think, yes, sir. Sir, I'll be glad if you explain these last 2 slides. I think it will be, you are the best person to explain these last 2 slides.
Okay, no, I will explain, but before that, can you just go back to this AVT that
Yeah,
industrial
yes, sir.
slide. I will
Yes, sir.
tell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, this one, right.
Hmm.
So this is actually from this photograph from their brochure. So there are several biotech companies in South India, particularly areas in Cochin and Bengaluru. So I had opportunity long back during my MTech time to do as my summer internship there. Okay, now point is this, that there are demands for this high value ornamental plants, okay, in the European market and American market. So what these companies are doing, they are doing a contract research. So the plant material, the virus-free plant materials are basically supplied to these Indian companies by the big, big nurseries in Europe, right? And here, what they are doing tissue culture propagation. So once they grow this plant, once they multiply this plant inside the test tube or jam jar, and later once they attain some maturity, they just take the plants out from this bottle and then they clean it up. Then they put it under some coolant, on the top of some coolant, okay, and then they pack it, and then immediately they rush this package to the airport for export. And what happens that once they reach in Netherlands and all other companies, this packet will be picked up, and the big nurseries, they will take it and they will harden in their environment. Okay, so in that way means the demand for million of plants, several million plants per year can be fulfilled. And here what you see that there are skilled technicians who are basically doing this job, sitting in the laminar flow. It is something like operation theater. So like I have heard that in this Christian Medical College below, so their operation theaters are very large and several operations are going on in the single hall. So here is also the same. So this is one thing about the biotech industry. So basically they are doing the contract research or as per the demand. So they are making it. Why they are doing it here? Why they are not doing in the European countries themselves? Because the cost of production is cheap. The labor cost is cheaper in our country as compared to their country. So that is why they are doing it here. Okay, next.
Yes.
Tom?
Yes, sir.
The hardening. Okay, this one you have said. Okay. Now, okay, this is about the story of bamboo. So bamboo plants actually, you know that they take several years to grow and then they may be alive for 20, 30 years. And before they die, they will flower. And the flowers, and then from flower, if the flowers are fertilized, they will produce seeds, and then these seeds can be germinated and you get the elite seedlings. Now what happened that but bamboo flowering can occur once in 20 years or 30 years. Okay, and the problem is this, that bamboo multiplication from the vegetative parts is not possible, so they have to depend on the seeds. But again, if it takes so many years, then how can you develop elite planting material? So the scientists, actually there are two groups worked in late 80s, early 90s. One from the botany department, Delhi University, and one from this National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. It's a CSIR laboratory. So both the groups work independently and they have achieved bamboo flowering in the culture. That means in the tissue culture, they have these plants growing in the flask, and they have manipulated the medium composition and lighting conditions, and then to their surprise, so they got these plants are producing flowers even when they are inside the test tube. So that is why bamboo has been forced to flower in vitro. In vitro means inside the test tube. And this was really a very, a path-breaking discovery, because then it is possible to make bamboo plants flower and making seeds when they are in the tissue culture. And these seeds can be harvested from the tissue culture flask itself. And then they can be kept for some time to attain some maturity, and then they can be planted. So this is what the next one is. The next slide. Pratham, next slide.
Yes, sir.
So actually, this is the team members who actually work. They are the scientists and the tissue culture laboratory, and the work is having such an international impact that this work published in the famous journal called Nature. Maybe you people are too young to understand what is nature and what is science. Basically, Nature and Science, these are the two topmost journals in the field of science, also engineering. So anything fundamental discovery in the field of science and engineering can be published in this journal. So Nature basically published from Europe, London, and the Science basically published from USA, New York. So this paper they published in the Nature, and then they received worldwide attention. So this is what it is, and that is what
Yes.
it is. And next slide.
Sir, nothing is there. I
And that
think
is the
this
end.
yeah.
And there are few comments I would like to do regarding this. That this Pritham mentioned totipotency. So totipotency is very interesting. So basically, it's a single cell. Actually, a single plant cell is capable to give rise to the whole plant. So from any plant, any single cell are capable to give rise to whole plant. This is called totipotency. In principle possible, but in practice, you have to create the ideal condition so that the cell can divide and grow into the whole plant. So the ideal condition is not achievable in most of the cases. But if the ideal condition can be achieved, so that from every plant cell, from any plant, is possible to give rise to whole plants. So that is all. Whereas that is not applicable in case of animal system, but in animal system now the concept of stem cell has come. So there are specific type of cells who are programmed to make a particular organ. So those cells, if you can grow, if you can nurture, nourish them, they can make a particular organ, but not the whole organism. So that is why in animals they call stem cells, but in plants we call totipotent cells. So that is the difference. Okay. That is all about. Okay. Another aspect about secondary metabolites, Prism, you have covered. Right.
Yes, sir, I have covered.
Okay, the hairy roots you have covered. No,
Yes,
partly.
hairy root I have shown the picture.
Yeah. Can you just go back to
Yes.
that? Yeah, this one is. So yeah, no, next one.
So this is hairy.
No, the next one or previous one, show me. Yeah, this one is
This
better.
one?
Yeah. Fine. No. Previous. But you can show inside the flask.
Oh, so those are actually adventitious.
Okay, those are advantages, but fine.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Something like this only.
Hmm.
So there are two type of roots. One is that you can have the normal roots. So like if you have herb, and from herb you can get the roots, and you can culture the root in using appropriate medium. And if you are lucky, then roots will grow faster. But normally it is difficult to make the root cultures because the fine balancing of hormones, it's not always possible to make it what plants require. So often you find that the root cultures you try to establish, they are slow in growing. Okay, even they grow for some time and they become stagnant. So that is the problem of root cultures. So there's an alternative way to make this fast growing roots is by doing infection in the plant material using some bacteria. So there is one bacterium, soil living bacterium, which is called agrobacterium. So one such agrobacterium species called Agrobacterium rhizogenis. So if we can infect our target plant with this bacterium, then what will happen? that when you are making infection, that means you are making a channel, you are wounding your target plant and allowing the bacteria to enter. So once bacteria started entering inside the plant cell, what it is doing, it is not only entering but also channelizing its plasmid DNA. That is an extra DNA in addition to the normal DNA inside the plant cell. And then what happens, the part of this bacterial DNA join with the plant DNA. And once it joins with the plant DNA, it is started altering the hormone balance of the plant. And then what happened as a result of that, we'll see these roots coming out. And these roots are called hairy roots. And these roots are usually faster in growth, and they basically represent the normal properties of the roots, what one normally get by adventitious roots. So in other words, hairy roots, why they are called hairy roots? Because they are apparently looks like fine hairs, but they are growing fast. And for growing hairy roots in the culture, you don't need to add hormones. That is a very plus point. And they are stable, and you can grow the hairy roots for years after years. And you can get, and these hairy roots often produce metabolites or high value medicinal compounds what plant roots are producing. So you can grow these roots at large scale in bioreactors, and you can harvest the roots and then make products out of it. So there are a lot of companies in Korea, Japan, in Europe, also in Switzerland, but European company recently they have shut down because of the high cost and other things. So, but the companies in Korea, Japan, they are doing perfectly well, and they are making, like, for example, ginseng. So ginseng is basically, you can get it from roots of Panax. There is a plant. So people, the demand of ginseng are basically fulfilled from the roots, even from hairy roots also. So that is another very exciting biotechnological tools. And in our laboratory, we successfully established long back. So it's now 2007. So now 12-13 years back, the root cultures of carrot. So hairy root cultures of carrot, and still we have this carrot hairy root cultures. And 2 students did their PhD, and 1 person did a very good MTech thesis from this. And still we have these cultures growing, and we use these cultures to do some of the laboratory experiments for our MTech and PhD students. For our MTech students and sometimes for the UG students also. But there are also other hairy root cultures. Right now we only maintain the carrot. But in other laboratory, people maintain several hairy roots, even establishing new hairy root cultures. We also have planned to establish hairy root cultures of this Canspora, so which produces in its roots a very important medicinal compounds. So we'll make attempt this year, maybe in the winter time, when the contamination problem will be less. And if it works, then that will be the first report in the world, if we are successful. And then we can also get the work published in some international magazine, what we call journal, and which will attract attention of the scientists interested in this area. Okay, so these are some of the applied aspects. We're just telling this might excite you. And that is all about from my side. Other things he has covered, and we can give you condensed this material, not all the pictures, but few important things in the form of PDF, and I will put it in the folder under this class material, so that you can study yourself. Okay. Thank you, Pritam. Over to you.
Yes, sir. So I think we are done. If they have any questions, so they can ask, any doubt. So I don't think they have any questions.
Sir, I have one.
Yeah, yeah. Who is this? I am not.
Uh, so my name is
Prithviraj, I think.
Prithviraj.
Yeah, yeah. Tell,
Yeah.
please tell.
Sir, actually, you told us that it is to create a whole plant from a single cell under ideal conditions. And you later mentioned that ideal conditions are not possible to generate in most of the cases. So, are there any cases that we have or anyone have had generated a whole plant from a cell?
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
actually,
yes, there are
what
many
we
examples. Many
there,
examples.
there are very cases. Yeah, very cases.
There
Actually,
are
what
many
we
examples. A good example is tobacco.
tobacco.
Okay.
Yes,
So tobacco, then in brassica,
brassica
right?
also, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. There are many examples,
Examples.
particularly with the crop plants also.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the plant kingdom is huge, right? Okay, so that is
Yeah.
why I said only few success. But using normal micropropagation and somatic embryogenesis, these tools, one successfully developed tissue culture. So it is not always needed that from a single cell you have to do the whole thing, right? It's not always
Yeah,
needed.
okay. No, actually, I just want to know that is it really possible to
Yeah,
create
Yeah,
a
yeah,
yeah,
it
whole
is. It is
living?
really
yeah.
possible, but actually the costing for generating entire plant from single cell, which we actually call protoplast culture or sometimes protoplast, is actually very difficult and costly actually. So in the most of the cases, people follow this explant or seeds or this callus through callus. Most of the cases, but reports there are several reports. Several reports are there actually generating
So
plants from single cell.
Pritam, there
Yes.
is one thing we have, as you have mentioned about protoplast,
Yeah.
that is another interesting aspect.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I couldn't. I forgot that just when he
We
asked me.
could
So I
have,
will. I will add one slide, sir, on that.
yeah,
And
okay. What
when I
we'll
we
do
will be.
maybe in the next class or before we start the next lesson, so we will try to collect couple of beautiful pictures and slides, and then we will introduce you a little bit about the protoplast. So protoplast. We can introduce now itself, but without the picture. So all of you know that the difference between a plant cell and animal cell. I hope all of you know. So animal cell, there is no cell wall, but in plant cell, there is a cell wall. Okay, and then next inside the cell wall, there is cell membrane. So cell membrane is there both in the plant cell as well as in the animal cell. So protoplast means that if we dissolve or remove the cell wall, then a plant cell without cell wall is called protoplast. Okay. And this proto cell wall can be dissolved using some enzymes. And if you use a buffer, then this protoplast can be isolated in the buffer. And from protoplast, you can generate the whole plant, what Pritam said. Yeah. And although the process is expensive, so we have to have very defined, focused objectives. And if we have that focused objectives, then we can invest the time and money for protoplast culture and subsequent regeneration.
Yes.
For example, like this protoplast, you can do certain irradiation. Okay, and irradiation, if you do, then there will be some in the plant genome. Okay, so maybe in the genome level there will be some breakage and joining. As a result of this, what will happen? There will be reshuffling of genomes, and doing so, some novel characters or some novel traits may appear. So, although this is a trial and error basis, but people using such approach, they generated some new varieties of crop plants. There is another interesting observation with protoplast. Suppose you isolated protoplast of plant X and you isolated protoplast of plant Y. So these two protoplasts, you can bring it in one test tube, and then you can add certain fusogenic things. That means some sort of gum, if I say, or enzyme. So what will happen? These two protoplasts, you can make them fused. So these two protoplasts can fused and make a single one. So essentially, you are fusing two cells together and making one cell. So what will happen as a result of that? So there will be again the genomes the will be shuffled, and you can create a novel plant. For example, potato and tomato. So scientists, what they did actually, they isolated protoplast from potato and tomato, then they fused, and then they try to regenerate into whole plants. And the plant which produced out of this, that is called pomato. Potato, tomato, that is called pomato. But unfortunately, these pomato plants, it produced flowers, but it could not produce the seeds. And then what will happen? That will end it itself. So often what happens, this hybrids produced out of this protoplast fusion, they are becoming sterile. So that is again another issue, and that is so that's pretty hard. But suppose if you have two different varieties of tulsi, so say one is basil and another is the common tulsi, so you can isolate protoplast from these two, you can fuse it together and create a novel variety of tulsi and basil, where you get the good characters of basil and the good character of tulsi. That is possible, and people have not done with the tulsi, but people have done with some other high value medicinal plants. So that is called interspecific somatic hybridization. So that is all possible with this protoplast fusion, and that the basis is the tissue culture. So you have to do all these things in the tissue culture and a sterile condition, and then regenerate the plant and then put it back in the greenhouse for hardening. So there are these possibilities are there. But what happens that because it takes long time, and people with time, with so many technologies and gadgets, they do not have that much, patience. So people are going for shortcut way to get their results, and that is why this sort of venture is bit now limited. But you never know, maybe after a decade again, there will be new resurgence of interest and things may again revive. Yeah.
Yes,
That's all.
I have found one picture from this Google image on Springer link, so I am
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
I think it is seen. I mean, it is visible. So some they have worked on this Kalankoi species.
So you
So
want to share it?
Yeah, sir, I am sharing. Is it
But no, but
visible?
first we have to unshare them. Pritam,
Oh, okay, sir. Just a second.
Pritam, you can unshare.
Yes,
Actually, it's visible. You are
it's
sharing a
visible, na?
Google tab.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
visible,
it's
na?
visible.
It is
So you
visible.
can
Yeah.
see. Yes, sir.
Oh,
It
okay.
is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Which
Yeah.
one? This one. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. You can see this some
Okay,
protoplast they
okay,
are
this one.
doing.
Oh,
Yes.
right. Okay. Protoplast
So,
isolation and culture from
Archer and sir,
who,
generation of plant.
who has done this? Who is
Sir,
the student? Please name.
yes, just let me know. This is from Springer Journal. This is from Jean Mackenzie.
Okay, this is from the plant cell disorgan culture
Yes,
journal.
sir.
Yeah.
Kalanko species actually.
Okay. 2019 is very current
Yeah,
paper.
yes, sir. It's a current paper.
Okay.
So,
So do you accept the cookies? Then it's okay. Accept the cookies, then this will go down. Yeah, and then we go down, we can see the photographs. Go down.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Sir.
You see the A1 is basically this is the two protoplasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And A2 and then this.
And then this B1, yeah, top of it, there is basically the fusion.
Yes, sir. I think fusion. Yeah, but no. So that is protoplast division.
Oh, there is division. Okay.
But this is from single species.
Okay.
So they are generating plant from protoplast
So
culture.
they're generating plant from single protoplast. Okay, if you people are interested, we can find out some more and we can show you maybe subsequent classes. Yeah. When you talk about the aromatic plants, so that time we will show you. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So if you have any other question, you can ask, or we can end the class. You can always ask questions by writing email to us, no problem, and we will answer those things maybe in the next class.
Yeah. And we will add sir few things when we will be sharing the content with them.
Okay. We'll add few
So I have to add the
culture and fusion.
photo plus, and sir I have to also add this hormones name, which I forgot to add.
Okay.
What are their function and all those things.
Okay, then we can end the class now.
Yes, sir.
So we are not
Okay, sir.
asking for any assignments for this. Rather, you understand, and then we'll take a comprehensive test. Right? Okay. So with the other today's is more descriptive, but in the subsequent class you will find there are some equations and calculations, so that they will tell. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.